Television news and saw this odd guy with little hands and he was like raving. Come on, Donald, this is ridiculous. This is nuts. This is insane. Because what he's been saying is really totally crazy, ridiculous stuff that he shouldn't be even.
Yeah,
nuts. Totally nuts. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. He said that about somebody. He'd like to punch him in the face. And how dare he say that with a crowd? How dare he say the things he does? Of course I want to punch him.
Is there anything more electrifying than an on-air meltdown from an A-list legend? Because that's exactly what everyone's whispering about right now. Rumor has it Robert De Niro tore into the president with such ferocity that even the show's producers were left speechless. People say you could practically see sparks flying through the camera lens. Talk about a combustible moment no one was ready for. And guess what? That's just scratching the surface of this outrageous fiasco. Buckle up, because once these behind-the-scenes secrets started leaking, the story took on a life of its own. Robert De Niro has never been shy. That's the first thing you need to know. He's built his career on bold choices and fearless honesty, a trait that fans usually love.
Stupid. Stupid. Silly.
It's not necessary?
No. It's just a, as everybody says, it's just the Trump with his big ego saying, I want a wall, and he's going to be obstinate until he gets, it's all stupid. It's all stupid stuff.
What's the matter with him?
That's a good question. What's the matter? Well, we have to get rid of him. Hate bullies, thugs who use their strength to push other people around. They think they can achieve power and hang on to it by intimidating others. Sadly, sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. And now we have Trump. He's all that, about intimidation, retribution. He's going to prosecute. He's going to send you to jail for having an abortion. He's going to take your Medicare and Social Security away. He's going to deport you. He's going to send the military after you if you defy him. You know who this shit works on? The MAGA politicians who are afraid of losing their power. They're so afraid of him, he's got them kissing his ass. And now they're trying to intimidate us. We will not allow that, not even for a minute, not even for a second. We need to show them our power and vote them all out, every one of them. The way to take down a bully is to look him straight in the eye.
Until it crosses into territory that absolutely scorches. For years, he's been rumored to hold certain, let's call them less than glowing opinions about the president. We've all caught glimpses of them in his red carpet remarks or random interview slip-ups. But apparently those tame jabs were nothing compared to what he unleashed live on TV. Sources claim this latest outburst wasn't a slip, but a well-planned reality check De Niro had been dying to drop. Still, the reason it blew up so fast is that, according to Inside Chatter, the network had zero clue he was about to go nuclear. No disclaimers, no last-minute warnings, just raw fury poured into a microphone. You can imagine producers backstage flailing around, trying to figure out if they should cut him off or let him keep going. In the end, they let him carry on. Mistake or ratings go, depends on who you ask. But that was only the beginning. The real shock came afterward.
Boxers in movies. I watched him last night. Truly believe he may be punch drunk. And then he says, at the end, he says, "Wake up, punchy," he says to you. And that's not the only time. And he moved over to Truth Social. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
He's so stupid.
As the rumor mill churned out one contradictory story after another, and you won't believe what happens next. Behind every on-air meltdown, there's a behind-the-scenes meltdown that's often 10 times more chaotic. Allegedly, that's precisely what happened once De Niro stepped off the stage. Whispers suggest he cornered a network exec in the hallway, ranting about how the president's actions have reached a tipping point, calling them irreversibly damaging and flat-out ruinous. The tension rose so fast that other staffers scattered, not wanting to get caught in the crossfire. Here's where it gets even juicier. Some say De Niro's outburst was triggered by a fresh rumor that the president had made some behind closed doors. Remark belittling Hollywood elites. De Niro, who's famously proud of his acting lineage, took that as a personal swipe. Allegedly, he wanted to strike back with the kind of force only a movie icon can muster. Now the question is, did the studio push him to ramp up drama for ratings? Or was this pure, unfiltered passion exploding under the bright lights? Everyone's got a theory, but the answers are hidden somewhere in the swirl of contradictory insider claims. But hold on, because there's more.
Robert De Niro.
I'm going to say one thing.
Why do you think people respond to the gangster genre so much? What is it? Why is that a classic genre?
Well, I don't know. You know, it's just that people like the outlaw type thing, except we have a wannabe gangster in the White House now.
Yeah. He does. He tries to act like a tough guy. Yeah. He tries to act like a made man, yeah.
Yeah, like a made guy,
Exactly.
You call in a certain, you'd say, disappointed Dunsky. And a Dunsky is the way of calling a Don, sort of a contracted way of a Don.
Oh, really?
And so a D and a DD, you'd call him. Disappointed Dunsky.
Really?
That's what he is. He's a...
This is where the story dives from mere rumor territory into something almost cinematic. Word on the street is that someone, no one knows who yet, recorded the entire meltdown backstage. Not just the on-camera piece, but the aftershock, the arguments, the door slamming, the entire meltdown vibe. If that's not scandalous enough, there are also claims these recordings aren't exactly flattering to either side. Picture it, Niro fuming, staffers panicking, and the show's hosts flipping through note cards, clueless about how to pivot to the next segment. Meanwhile, rumors say there's an audio snippet capturing De Niro calling the president the single most destructive force in modern times, plus a string of other unfiltered remarks that likely made the executives cringe. Is it real? Is it fabricated? Right now, it's impossible to confirm. But it's the kind of leak everyone's waiting for with bated breath, hearts pounding at the prospect of a full meltdown tape surfacing online. Some folks claim they heard snippets, scratchy, half-intelligible audio with De Niro's distinctive voice booming in fury. If those allegations hold up, this could be the biggest scandal De Niro's been tangled in for years, one that might define the next phase of his career. But it doesn't stop there. You might be wondering how the president fits into this swirling storm.
Do you think our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course. But democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong, period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary.
Are you
Excuse my French.
Turns out there's speculation he got wind of De Niro's tirade almost immediately. Certain tabloids even claim that in response, the White House occupant fired off a barrage of phone calls trying to do damage control or maybe just venting to aides. According to these rumors, the president has no problem throwing shade. But when a renowned icon flips the script and calls him out in such a public, blistering way, it's a whole different level of tension. Some insiders insinuate that the president thrives on conflict, feeding on it to keep public attention locked in. But in this case, the direct confrontation from a beloved Hollywood figure stung deeper than usual. People are speculating whether this war of words will escalate into a full-blown feud, with the president lashing back on social media or sending surrogates to belittle De Niro's career. So far, no official statement, just a swirling rumor that the White House occupant is privately fuming, calling De Niro misinformed or ungrateful, depending on which leaker you believe, yet you won't believe the next twist. Here's where the plot thickens even further. De Niro's inner circle allegedly went on a spree of hush-hush phone calls to calm the flames. While the actor hasn't issued any formal clarifications, the rumor mill says his team has never been busier. They're apparently telling certain industry contacts that De Niro simply had enough of the nonsense. They're painting him as a truth teller, the only one with the courage to say what everybody's supposedly thinking. But is that the full story? Some network sources claim that after the broadcast, there was a frantic meeting in a dimly lit conference room. The suits wanted to figure out whether they should spin this fiasco as a comedic rant, a heartfelt outpouring, or just bury it altogether. Meanwhile, De Niro's camp reportedly told them to shove it, that the legendary actor stands by every scorching word he let loose. If that's not a standoff, I don't know what is. Evidently, the tension is so thick you'd need a chainsaw to cut through it. Industry insiders are bracing themselves for what might happen if the rumored backstage audio is leaked in its entirety. And believe me, it only gets weirder. The contradictory claims keep piling up. One alleged on-set staffer posted an anonymous tip online claiming that De Niro wasn't the only one fuming. Word is, multiple show producers are furious at the president for allegedly trashing the entertainment industry behind closed doors, calling it phony and out of touch. The staffer insists that once De Niro heard that rumor, he wanted to expose the president for talking trash while smiling at Hollywood events. This staffer's account also suggests that at least one network bigwig tried to shield De Niro from retaliation, pulling him aside moments before he went live. But De Niro was supposedly beyond reason, like a ticking bomb determined to blow. The lid off hypocrisy. That's the story they're spinning. De Niro sees the occupant of the White House as manipulative, a person who publicly panders while privately mocking the very people who made him a media sensation. If that's the case, no wonder De Niro's meltdown was so passionate. The question is, how much of this is hearsay? Are we dealing with a handful of salty staffers stirring the pot, or a legitimate wave of revelations about the darkest corners of showbiz's uneasy relationship with politics? Just wait until you hear what insiders are saying next. Another bombshell rumor. Could this entire standoff be orchestrated? Certain skeptics love to argue that big feuds between high-profile figures are often staged to boost viewership, sell tickets, or raise profiles. Is it possible De Niro planned the rant with the network for some mutual publicity stunt? One in-the-know commentator claims all the fury is real, but once the camera stopped rolling, everyone realized the potential ratings bonanza. So allegedly, they decided to leak details bit by bit, stoking the public's curiosity like fuel poured on a bonfire. Meanwhile, others are adamant that there's no chance De Niro would degrade himself with some manipulated PR chess game. They point out that De Niro's well known for speaking his mind, even when it's detrimental to his personal brand. So, which is it? Staged meltdown or genuine, unstoppable fury? The speculation alone is feeding an entire cottage industry of gossip columns, YouTube channels, and frantic tweet threads. And the moment you think you've got it all figured out, a new perspective emerges, flipping the script yet again. People can't agree on who's telling the truth or who's faking it for clout. Now brace yourself for the final revelations. The most startling claim yet? Some are whispering that De Niro is doubling down in private conversations, telling anyone who will listen that the president has completely lost the plot and has been gaming the system for personal gain. He's allegedly calling for more big names in entertainment to stand up and speak out, claiming that the president's manipulations have gone unchallenged for too long. That alone suggests this feud might escalate, especially if other celebs step up and add their voices. Insiders say the tension is more than a simple war of words. It feels personal, like a betrayal De Niro won't soon forgive. They say he's telling people the occupant of the White House is all about vanity and self-glorification, that he's done with watching from the sidelines. If the rumors are true, De Niro might be forging alliances with other A-listers who share his disgust. Could we be on the brink of a Hollywood revolt? Or is this just more gossip designed to keep headlines buzzing, which leads us to the grand finale? So here we stand, folks, at the edge of one of the most talked about rifts in recent memory. Robert De Niro, if the rumors are to be believed, blew the roof off a TV broadcast with a scathing condemnation of the president, and he's not backing down. We're left with swirling stories about backstage tantrums, secret recordings, potential leaks, and a network in damage control mode. Yet for all the speculation, one thing is clear. De Niro's outrage is rattling the industry, exposing fault, lines that have simmered for years. The real question? How far does this go, and who benefits in the end? Is De Niro blazing a trail for others to speak up, or is he just stirring the pot for attention? Are we about to see a well-oiled pushback from the president's defenders? Could the alleged meltdown audio surface any minute, turning the speculation into undeniable proof? That's what everyone's waiting on. We may not have all the answers, but one thing's for sure, this clash is far from over. So keep your eyes peeled and your popcorn close, because if the rumors keep pouring out, we could be in for a scandal. So explosive, it'll make last year's biggest drama look downright tame. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. Keep asking yourself, are we witnessing genuine outrage or just another carefully orchestrated media circus? Either way, the entire spectacle leaves us hooked, wondering what the next bombshell will be. And isn't that exactly the kind of chaos these Hollywood versus politics feuds thrive on? That's the story so far, and let's face it, it's absolutely wild. Whether you believe every rumor or chalk this up to typical industry backstabbing, one fact remains: Robert De Niro unleashed on the president, and it's got everybody talking. This could blow over by next week, or it could morph into the Hollywood meltdown of the decade. Either way, the clock is ticking and the tension is rising. Stay tuned, because the next twist could drop any second, and when it does, it might just shake the foundations of how we see our favorite stars and the powers that be